Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more. Krishna, Krishna. Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
So, till they had 1, 2, 3 sins for being proud, and they were not only proud, they were wild. And resulted in their insulting, making offense to the Holy Dham, and making offense to Narada Muni. So Narada Muni considered the problem with these two is they're excessively wealthy. And then long description of what happens when there's excessive wealth and indulgence in that wealth. And it'll be good for them if they were deprived of that wealth for a long period of time. And they want to stand naked, so they can stand naked as trees. So he cursed them and benedicted them. Stand as trees. And when you stand there as trees, I bless you that you have remembrance of all of your sinful activities in the heavenly realm. And I bless you that you'll be relieved of this burden, this curse of being trees, by Krishna himself. You'll see, you have Krishna's darshan, so forth. Then you can come back to your heavenly abode. But pure devotees, not indulgent in your wealth and so forth. So that's what happened. They became trees. And the end of that the previous chapter 10 is Krishna was tied to a grinding mortar, very similar to the Damodar Leela. The chapter after the Damodar Leela, it was a different grinding mortar, it wasn't the same one. And he started crawling. And as he was crawling, a little child crawling, dragging behind him a grinding mortar, the grinding mortar got stuck in between the two trees. And he was like a bulldozer. He just kept crawling. And he knocked over the two trees. Big crash. Title, Prabhupada has given the title of the chapter, The Childhood Pastimes. And so we're going to hear, what did Krishna do as a child? Now, embedded in this story are the Aghasura demon. So, this demon, that demon come to harass Krishna, sent by Kamsa. But this evening, we're not going to meet either of those demons. We're just going to hear how Krishna lived his childhood in Vrindavan. Now, it's a very important principle to understand about Krishna's appearance in this world. Yes, according to what he says in Bhagavad Gita, it's true. He comes to protect the devotees and annihilate the demons. So, included in Vrindavan, he's a little child, up till 10 years of age, he grew in Vrindavan, but he's a 1-year-old toddler, and destroying demons from that position. But for the emphasis this evening is the real reason that Krishna comes, because he could send somebody else to dismiss the demons, or he can blink his eye and the demons are finished. He didn't even have to blink his eye. his icha, his desire is there, and his potencies do according to his desire. So the main reason why Krishna appears in this world and performs pastimes in this world is to reciprocate and stimulate love from his eternal associates. It's very, very nice understanding. He's doing many other things, but he's really doing one thing. He is stimulating rasa, the exchange of love from his eternal associates. Now, in Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, or Krishna's pastimes in the world, there's two categories of his devotees. Some are his eternal Nitya Siddha devotees, eternally perfect devotees. And they, after Krishna departs, they enter into an unmanifest or uppercut stage. And then when Krishna appears, they manifest and they engage with him. And at different stages, this is largely, it's the elders, it's the parental affection, and Krishna stimulating the love of the parents, not just Mother Jasoda, but her friends, the ladies, and the men, the gopas and the gopis of the elder age. There's not so much interaction at this stage yet with the young gopis. It's primarily the focus is Vatsalya Rasa, and how Krishna enjoyed stimulating their love in different ways. Like, we have a traffic cop back here. She wants us to move forward. Can you move forward? Yeah, can you move forward? Oh, good. A little bit. Fantastic. Just see. See now the traffic cop is happy. You did a nice service. Thank you. So back to Vrindavan. This evening is primarily, so pay attention as you hear, Krishna's going to do this and say that and different things. So along with the activity, try to focus on the love that Krishna is stimulating within them by doing unusual things. And he is going to conduct himself like a little boy. And sometimes he'll sing, sometimes he'll dance, they'll clap, he'll smile. Sometimes they'll point to something and indicate that he should put it on his head, and he puts the little thing on his head and carries the little thing, and they clap their hands and smile, and just like, but it's like child play, but he's the personality of Godhead, and they have transcendental affection, parental affection for the personality of Godhead. So it looks like a worldly child, a human child, looks like, but it's something else going on. So if you miss the something else, then the essence of Krishna's childhood pastimes in Vrindavan, they're charming, they're very sweet, but the happiness, the speciality, the madhurya feature of these pastimes will not be tasted by you. So I'm doing this preamble so you can focus on Krishna stimulating their hearts in different ways, and it's very nice. Because later on in his childhood pastimes, there's the focus shifts to his boyfriends. There's some what he does with his boyfriends, cowherd boys, the gopas, and then other rasas. So here we go. Hopefully Krishna will permit. Here's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's summary. The 11th chapter describes the release of Krishna from the mortar that was caught in between the twin Arjuna trees, buying fruits, entering Vrindavan. Entering Vrindavan means there was a shift from Mahavan to the western side of Vrindavan, western side of the river Jamuna. And we'll hear, I'll sneak preview at the close of what we're going to be speaking about and the opening for tomorrow. Vrindavan, geographically, is situated in between the ancestral home of Nanda and their new home on the eastern side of the river Jamuna. So it's across the river, but it's not all the way to the ancestral home. That's where the location of Vrindavan, geographically. So picture in your map, way over on the western side, there's Nandagram, up on the hill, and over here there's Varsana, and in between the hill and where they were staying is Vrindavan. So like Vrindavan town and the place of Vrindavana, the forest of Vrindadevi. Buying fruits, entering Vrindavan, herding the cows in the forest, and killing the Vatsasura and Makasura, which comes in a couple of days. He's not going to do it right away. The gopis would say, if you dance, my dear Krishna, then I shall give you half a sweetmeat. By saying these words, or by clapping their hands, all the gopis encouraged Krishna in different ways. At such times, although he was the supremely powerful personality of Godhead, he would smile and dance according to their desire, as if he was a wooden doll in their hands. Now this is a little bit older. He's got a flute in his hand, but that's okay. He was, very charming. He was the center of their, as you can see from the painting, all eyes on Krishna. Like a little child, sometimes it's like that anyways. Sometimes he would sing very loudly at their bidding. In this way, Krishna came completely under the control of the gopis. Now, meanwhile, he's controlling them. Little children can do that with parents, but they were controlling him, and he was reciprocating with their love. Vishwanath writes, sometimes without showing his powers, because of the gopis' love, innocent love, mugna, he would sing like a wooden puppet. So here he is in a swing. Sometimes Mother Yashoda and her gopi friends would tell Krishna, bring this article, or bring that article. Sometimes they would order him to bring a wooden plank, wooden shoes, or a wooden measuring pot. They would point to it and say to bring. And when ordered by his mothers, he would try to bring them, but sometimes they were heavy and he couldn't lift them. He'd just touch them and look at them. They would smile. Sometimes, however, if unable to raise these things, he would touch them and stand there. Just to invite the pleasure of his relatives, he would strike his body with his arms to show that he had sufficient strength. And here's this celebrated painting where he's bringing the shoes of Nanda. In order to test Krishna's strength, first the gopis would ask Krishna to bring the wooden shoes. Then they would ask him to bring heavier objects and heavier objects. So there he is with the wooden shoes. And he would, because the shoes were heavy, he'd have to put them on his head and toddle over. And how did Nanda Maharaj feel about that little scene? Such loving dealing. And Mother Yashoda, oh, my darling little... It's a nice thing, and having child thing, and having child play. To pure devotees throughout the world who could understand his activities, the Supreme Personality of Krishna exhibited how much he can be subdued by his devotees, his servants. In this way, he increased the pleasure of the Vrajvasis by his childhood pastimes. So now we're going to hear some commentary. In this case, this is Jiva Goswami, where he writes, the purpose is indicated. And what's the purpose? Pleasure. He's experiencing pleasure by giving them pleasure. And their pleasure is by seeing him having pleasure. The word britya, or servant, is used to reiterate the mood of those who know the power of the Lord. The word svanam is used to indicate those whom the Lord takes as his own family. So that's like all the Vrajvasis. There's mom and dad, Yashoda, and Nanda. But everyone was like family. He felt like that. They felt like that towards him. He produced bliss for all the people of Vraja in his childhood pastimes. So this is commentary. Then there's the pastimes. Once, we know the pastime, a woman selling fruit was calling, "Oh, inhabitants of Brajabhumi, if you want to purchase some fruits, come here." So curious little Krishna goes outside. But before he goes outside, he reached into a big pot and grabbed a handful of grains so he could barter some grains for the fruit. And he had little hands. And his little hands held the grains, but as he was walking, toddling along, carrying the grains, they would fall through his fingers. So when by the time he reached the lady with the fruits, there was hardly anything left in his hand. But the loving, charming way with which he toddled over to her, she was just overwhelmed. So this is Prabhupada's writing. Aborigines generally go to villages to sell fruits. Jiva Goswami writes, he gave joy even to the lowest Pulinda caste, or the Aborigines, among the inhabitants of Vraja. Achyuta is full in every respect, but he wanted fruit. So he approached her, and she was so charmed. Though he is the giver of all fruits, she quickly went out with a handful of grains, as only that was available at the moment. So you see, falling through his fingers, the grains are falling to the ground. And she's more than happy to offer him fruits. But look what's in the basket. If she gives him so many fruits, he can't carry them all. Her basket fills up with jewels. Mystical, right? He who gives excellently all results desires pilu fruits. While Krishna was going to the fruit vendor very hastily, most of the grains he was holding fell. Nonetheless, the fruit vendor filled Krishna's hands with fruit. Then, when Krishna's requesting of his devotee to offer him these things, Yome bhaktya prayashati, I accept that which is offered with love from the genuine devotee, having pure body and mind, who gives just a leaf, flower, fruit, or water. Ashnami, he eats. Krishna is self-sufficient and is not hungry, but he has an appetite for the bhakti with which the devotee makes an offering to him. So the fruit vendor specifically is mentioned that she's a forced dwelling Pulinda or Aborigine, or not a sophisticated lady, but just a lady that sells fruits. And Krishna wanted to give his mercy to her, so he came with the way he did, and she was so charmed she just filled up his arms, and he filled up her basket. It's a very nice pastime. Okay, childhood pastimes of Krishna. Once, After the uprooting of the Yamala Arjun trees, Rohini went to call Rama, that's Balaram, and Krishna, who had both gone to the riverside and were playing with the other boys with deep attention. So he's now with boys. He's a little bit beyond toddling enough he can just move around a little bit. And events of a day after the Damodar incident, pastimes are described showing Yashoda's care for her son with great affection in order to show that she had greater affection and control over Balaram than Rohini had. Now this is a commentary. And Balaram had special affection, of course, for his mother, but special affection for Yashoda, as she had special affection for him. So motherly affection for both. That's the picture of Vrindavan. Because of being too attached to playing with the other boys, Krishna and Balaram did not return upon being called by Rohini. And so Mother Yashoda is going to worry. Therefore, Rohini sent Mother Yashoda to call them back, because Yashoda was more affectionate to Krishna and Balaram. She could get them to come back when they wouldn't come back. Rohini called them, this is commentary, and then she sent Yashoda, since Yashoda was able to attract them quickly because of her greater affection. So there's Krishna and Balaram on a swing, and the two ladies, and Nanda Maharaj by his side, and there's just love in different exchanges of love, the parental affection. And now there's Krishna with a nice flute. Why did she call them? She had affection for her son. She also feared accidents on the bank of the river, and she wanted to bathe and feed the two boys. So that's what happened. Bath time. The boys wanted to play. Bath time. My dear son, lotus-eyed Krishna, come here and drink the milk of my breast. My dear darling, you must be very tired because of hunger and the fatigue of playing so long. There's no need to play anymore. Right. She addressed Balaram as the son of the dynasty, so that Krishna would come quickly out of envy. Competition. But it's pastime. It's not the worldly kind. It can also be an address to him. So here's Mother Yashoda. My dear son, because of playing all day, your body's become covered with dust and sand. Therefore, come back, take your bath, and cleanse yourself. Today, the moon is conjoined with the auspicious star of your birth. Therefore, be pure and give cows in charity to the brahmanas. Now, from childhood, she's training him in charity. Prabhupada's purport is the custom of Vedic culture that whenever there is any auspicious ceremony, one should give valuable cows in charity to the brahmanas. So she's training him. Therefore, Mother Yashoda requested Krishna, instead of being enthusiastic and playing, now please come and be enthusiastic in charity. He looks very serious about listening to her words. Yes, Mama. Just see how all your playmates of your age have been cleansed and decorated with beautiful ornaments by their mothers. You should come here. And after you've taken your bath, eaten your lunch, and been decorated with ornaments, you may play with your friends again. He doesn't like baths, I guess. You got to persuade him. When he still did not come, she tried to generate envy in him by showing the example of the other boys. Boys are competitive somehow. She repeats the words pashya, or see, as an expression of scolding. Just see your friends. Oh. Arising from prema. See your friends who have been cleansed by their mothers, by bathing, etc., and then nicely ornamented. So, Shukadev Goswami is narrating all of this because he wanted to hear, Maharaj Parikshit wanted to hear Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. So do we. Because of intense love and affection, Mother Yashoda, Krishna's mother, considered Krishna, who was the peak of all opulences, to be her own son. It's an important detail, not even detail, it's more of a principle. It's an important principle that in Vrindavan, while Krishna sometimes shows his opulences on occasion, and sometimes conceals his opulences on the rest of the occasions, predominating over the opulence, the Aishvarya feature, is the sweetness feature. And they're engaging with the sweetness feature, Krishna in that role or mood, and he reciprocates with them in that role or mood because they have that kind of love, and he likes that kind of love. He loves that kind of love. So he engages with them in these ways. She took Krishna by the hand, along with Balaram, and brought them home, where she performed her duties by fully bathing them, dressing them, and feeding them. Looks like they're taking a nap after that. Krishna Balaram. She thought of the crest jewel of Ananta, the source of all avatars, as her son. And so from the Sanskrit of the verse, another meaning can be, she considered him not as Bhagavan, but like Bhagavan. But he was actually both. Of some other meanings, Sanskrit words. Vishwanath. Taking him to her house, taking him to his house, she made him bathe, eat, and then decorated him. The sky is falling. You householders, you're used to these sounds. Boo-hoo-hoo. Then one time, having seen the great disturbances in Brihadvana is another name of Mahavana. Brihad means great and Maha means great, so Brihadvana and Mahavana, same place, the place where they're residing. The elders got together. Too many disturbances over here. So with Nanda, they assembled and began to consider what to do about all these disturbances in Brihatvana or Mahavana. So leading the assembly is his elder brother. After playing, so here's the commentary. After playing in Mahavana, when Krishna desired to play in Vrindavan, Upananda suggested they move to Vrindavan. So this is a broken picture, but sitting on the chair on the right, there's 5 brothers. Their 5 brothers are sons of the same father. Parjanya Maharaj was the father, and he had 5 sons, and the eldest was Upananda, the middle son was Nanda, and then there's other names with Nanda in the names. So Nanda became the king, But Upananda is the elder brother, so Upananda is calling the assembly, and he's making the suggestion. Too many demons coming over here. My dear friends, the cowherd man, in order to do good to this place, Gokul, we should leave it, because so many disturbances are always occurring here, just for the purpose of killing Rama and Krishna. The child Krishna, simply by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was somehow or other rescued from the hands of the Rakshasi, Putana, who was determined to kill him. That's chapter 6. Then chapter 7. Then, again, by the mercy of the Supreme Godhead, the handcart missed falling on the child. That's the Shakatasura, chapter 7. Then, again, the demon Trinavarta, in the form of a whirlwind, took the child away into the dangerous sky to kill him. But the demon fell down onto a slab of stone. In that case also, by the mercy of Lord Vishnu or his associates, the child was saved. That was chapter 7. Now we're skipping over to chapter 10. Even the other day, neither Krishna nor any of his playmates died from the falling of the two trees, although the children were near the trees, or even between them. So this is Krishna pulling over the Arjuna trees. This is also to be considered the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he wants everybody to shift. Though it was improper to speak of death, he does so to have everyone recollect the inauspiciousness of the event in order to increase everyone's affection for Krishna. That was pretty easy. They will have affection for Krishna. He, Krishna, was protected by the Lord, who spreads everywhere without fail. That's the assessment. Our dear son was protected by Lord Vishnu, because his protection spreads everywhere. It would be impossible for anyone to protect the boys who are scattered all over from the falling of the tall trees. Therefore, some unknown demon or demons are harassing us over here. Before he comes here to create another disturbance, it's our duty to go somewhere else with the boys until there are no more disturbances. So guess what? That's the end for this evening. Part 1, the childhood pastimes of Krishna. There's this chapter has 3 parts, because that's what's in the schedule, therefore it has 3 parts. And from this place, we're going to hear tomorrow how Upananda's words are good enough for everybody. So they, in one day, it's like a big deal. They put all of the paraphernalia on bullock carts and crossed the river Jamuna and settled in Vrindavan in one day. These days, in one day, and settled in the next place in the same day. No such thing. Without trucks and vans and stuff, and bullock carts. But the Prabhupada indicates, just see how simple they lived. And they're householders, and it's easy to become attached to your house or your household and the paraphernalia in your household, and just like pack up and leave. It's not vagabonds, but very capable of becoming quickly unattached for a higher purpose. The higher purpose was the safety of little boy Krishna and Balaram, so they would be safe and protected. Because they didn't know what was the cause of all this. Now, one of the things that we heard, just a little review, The first demon was Putana. And Nanda Maharaj had gone to had gone to Mathura to pay his annual taxes. I'll just expanding. The arrangement when there were two brothers, Shurasena and Parjanya. They had the same father. Two brothers had the same father. One of the mothers was a Vaishya mother. Another was a Kshatriya mother. So one became the king of Mathura, and the other became the king of Vrindavan. Because the capital had its agricultural land, just like the system. The landholder is the king over there in Mathura. And the king gave rights to the people. You can till the land, but you pay your taxes. I own the land, and you grow and prosper, and bring some taxes each year, please. So Nanda, being dutiful, was going to Mathura to pay his taxes. And when he was there, he met his friend, Vasudeva. Now Vasudeva didn't say, let me tell you a little secret, Nanda. That little boy of yours is not your boy, it's mine. He didn't say. What he did say was, there's danger for him. And Kamsa could do anything at any time. I recommend that you get back really quickly, to Vrindavan, and make sure that your son is safe. So by the time he got back, the whole Putana situation had already happened. And there she was, this 12-mile long, humongous body lying out in the field. They started chopping the body with axes and burning the body. So he thought, wow, Vasudeva is a mystical guy. How did he foresee the future? His respect for Vasudeva went way up. So he knew before it even happened that there would be danger. And now there's danger after danger after danger, this quick list of the dangers that happened on the eastern side of the river Yamuna in Mahavan or Brihadvan. They're making the decision, let's shift back. But the explanation given by our commentators is Krishna was ready to go. He wasn't afraid of the demons that were going to be sent by Kamsa or the mystical, whoever it is causing. He knew who was causing. Kamsa was sending demons to kill him. And Krishna was having fun with the cowherd boys, with the elders, with the demons. He was enjoying the pastimes. He's enjoying pastimes. And he's coming for that purpose. So he does these amazing things that the residents of Vrindavan don't understand where the power is. They don't understand he's the all-powerful, almighty, supreme. They understand he's the little boy in our village, or my son, and I have to protect him. So that's their affection, and the sweetness of their affection. They don't see his majesty; they see his sweetness, and that's very special. And he reciprocates accordingly, again and again and again. It's loving exchange. And accomplishing one of there's 64 qualities of Krishna, and one of those qualities is he's expert. And in that expertise, one of the features of his expertise is, by one thing, he's accomplishing many things. So he's enjoying, he's stimulating the love of the residents of Vrindavan, and he's killing demons. He's eliminating the burden of the earth from demons. But he's attracting them, and he knows that Kamsa has an idea. Meanwhile, there's these descriptions of, we heard, I'll remind you what maybe you didn't hear. when Putana was killed, she was very powerful. She was a witch. She was a mystical lady that could change change shapes, fly in the air, poison people. She was a bad lady, and he knew it, and she was killed. So then he went next to the next demon that he sent was a demon that had no body. Shakatasura somehow had no body because he was cursed to have no body from his previous sins. And then the whirlwind demon, very, very powerful. And he was getting fearful because these demons that he sent were invincible and they were all killed. Then comes the next two. Stay tuned tomorrow. And then there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more. And it's for Krishna, it's fun. And for the cowherd boys, it was astonishing. And for Mother Yasoda, what's that? Anyway, he's stimulating her love. The protective nature of a mother for the small child. And puts himself in danger and then takes away the danger. Wow. Some power was going to harm him, but our past pious activities have protected him somehow. Okay, let's see if there's some discussion. Krishna's childhood pastimes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for taking us to Vrindavan. So every time we hear again and again, it's still, I can relish this. Such a mystical, because when I hear other things again and again, it's boring, but this one is. I am always a little, I wanted to clarify my understanding about how Krishna was perceived by Mother Yashoda and all the gopis. I heard about, I just wanted to get more clarification of function of Yoga Maya in the Leela. And how Krishna is perceived to be, not as a supreme Lord, but just a regular child, and they're still able to relish, and it is still considered bhakti. So just wanted to get more clarity.
A starting point is living entities are marginal potency, tatastha shakti. Marginal means, the example Prabhupada gives is where the sand beach meets the sea. And sometimes the tide's up. And sometimes the tide recedes. So that's where the tide comes and goes, that's marginal. Sometimes and sometimes. So living entities as a category, as a tattva, they're marginal. Sometimes influenced by Mahamaya, sometimes influenced by Yogamaya. Your question is about Yogamaya. So, we're always under the influence of this or that. We're controlled, we're not independent. We're dependent and marginal, depending upon where we turn our attention. Then it's covered by Mahamaya, covered by Yogamaya. So, living entities, jivas, are called jiva, or the category of jiva means there's conditioning, and conditioned specifically by Mahamaya. And when one is conditioned by Mahamaya, one doesn't see Krishna. And your mother Yashoda is under the care of, the influence of, or the custody of, or the control of Yogamaya. So it's the same energy. The explanation is, it's the Yogamaya is the spiritual potency of Krishna, the Sarup Shakti of Krishna, his own spiritual potency, or an expansion of his Sarup Shakti is this Yogamaya feature of him. And the Yogamaya feature acts in such a way that, although in contact with Krishna, one may not recognize it's Krishna. At least the resident of Vrindavan don't recognize that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They have their Vaishnavas in that they worship the Supreme Lord. They see Narayana as the Supreme Lord, and he is, and that Krishna is the little boy. Now there are others that are in the care of the internal potency, and they see Krishna as the Supreme. And there are others that don't see Krishna as Supreme. They just see him as a worldly person with a material body and perishable like the rest of us. So there's different ways of seeing the same object, Krishna being the object. So Yogamaya, the function of Yogamaya is to cover the perception of Krishna as the Supreme, and to enable the person to not see his supremacy or his divinity, but see him in a sweetness of love. That's the impact of, or influence of, Yogamaya. And then different features, depending upon this soul's orientation or that soul's orientation. In the case of Mother Yashoda, it's parental affection. So Krishna interacts with her, the Yogamaya that acts upon her and with Krishna is of a certain kind, reciprocating with her and her love, her kind of love. Does that take care of your question?
Yes, and the whole purpose of that is so that Krishna can relish that particular rasha in a very organic way, without any...
And there's two ways. And that Mother Yashoda can experience her love for him in a particular way. Because rasa means there's an exchange. Takes two to tango. Take two for rasa. So, yes, and also to stimulate Mother Yashoda to feel love the way that she feels love for him, which Krishna is attracted to and becomes controlled by. Voluntarily. He loves and she loves. Okay?
Thank you.
Some hands up in the back. Oh, right behind you.
Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
I have two things.
Only two?
Only two at the moment.
Let's go for three.
Somewhat related to Prabhu's question. My understanding is that the residents of Vrindavan are to be much more appreciated because they love Krishna without knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Right.
Is that correct understanding?
Yes, very good.
And I honestly don't think I mean, in the beginning of the class you mentioned, look out for that something else. I don't think I get that something else particularly, but I'll have to look at hear the class again to maybe get that something else that you were talking about.
Could you do it again? I missed it.
Pardon me. In the beginning of the class,
I mentioned something.
You mentioned that look out for that quote unquote something else.
Oh, what I was saying was, in addition to the storyline, pay attention to the loving exchange aspect.
Oh, okay.
Because if you don't pay attention to it, it might just pass you by. So I've been attempting, I gave the heads up, flashing light, pay attention, but then making mention as we go along.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
And to amplify that particular point, in the earlier chapters, it was emphasized, so I'm repeating something emphasized earlier. All of the personality of Godhead's pastimes are attractive because he's all attractive. And the childhood pastimes are especially attractive. And the childhood pastimes of Krishna are invested with potencies of attractiveness that makes it very easy for love for Krishna to be amplified and accelerated and heightened in comparison to other pastimes of the same person or other forms of the Supreme Person. And Krishna, the person is all attractive, but the childhood pastimes have a special sweetness that makes them special, makes them especially attractive and beneficial to hear. And therefore, some emphasis. There's another reason for why so much emphasis, besides they love without knowing that he's the Supreme. Embedded in that is there's a sweetness that's beneficial for the hearer.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
One more takeaway for me was Upananda said, because these demons are attacking Krishna, so let us move away. So one takeaway for me is
Move away.
sometimes, not always, but sometimes it makes sense to protect our Krishna consciousness,
Yeah.
to maybe move away.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes.
Yeah. That's a takeaway.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
No, that was his reasoning, but behind his pass the microphone back. Behind his reasoning was Krishna's desire. He was thinking this way and feeling this way and reasoning this way because that's what Krishna wanted. He's under Yogamaya too. He's not Mother Jasoda, but he's up there. Microphone? Who has it? Okay, go for it.
Maharaj, this question is on pass, which was given on 25th. I didn't get the chance at the time, so can I ask? So, when Krishna kicked Sakatasura, he directly went to Goloka Vrindavan.
Who?
Demon Shakatasura?
Yakatasura.
Yeah,
Well, he got mercy.
yeah.
You get Krishna's mercy and anything can happen.
He actually came to kill Krishna, but he went to Goloka Vrindavan.
Yeah. So Krishna can do what he likes, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
You just become another Shakatasura Jr. and go back to Godhead.
Like, in case of Bharat Maharaj, he has to take, like, he's a devotee, and then since he was attached to deer, so he has to take like 2 more lives to reach the abode of Krishna. So,
We do. You're saying we do.
no, Raj.
Bharat. Oh, what? Krishna can do what he likes. No problem. We're not
Actually,
hearing Bharat Maharaj complain.
I was thinking, like, is it like for devotees, attachment is very bad, you know?
No, what here? There's. You want to hear a secret? Do you like secrets?
Yes.
But this is a secret. Once you hear it, you can tell it. It's okay. The secret comes from our acharyas that says, based upon specific language in one of the verses, that his fall down was due to an offense. Somewhere back there, in Bharat Maharaj's case, not everyone, but in his case, so the take home, like he likes this word take home, that you don't make offense. because you never know but something's going to happen. Likely something's going to happen. So beware of offense. And that's what happened in his case. He fell and had to went through what he went through because of an offense. Now, the protection was withdrawn because he consciously chose to desist from his spiritual practices. Like, no more japa, no more yajna, no more anything. Oh dear. He stopped. He blooped. He fell down from his spiritual practice, from his protection, the spiritual strength. He unplugged from the spiritual protection means by choice. And why such a choice? Offense, the reaction of an offense. That's the distinction in his case. It's the exception. It's not the rule, but it's what happened in his case. You're smiling. You like it. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I just about what you said, like just before ending the class, about Nanda Maharaj meeting Vasudev. I was just wondering, how did he meet Vasudev?
How did he do what?
How did he meet Vasudev? Because Devaki and Vasudev got imprisoned by Kamsa.
Yeah.
Right? So how
did he get into prison to have a conversation with him? Is that what you're asking? That's your question.
Yes.
Well, nice question.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And my understanding is conjecture. It's not scriptural based, but it's conjecture based. The different kinds of prison, some is like high security prison because somebody's a dangerous person. In many cases, you'll see paintings. Now, these are artists licensed, but they paint the prison is like this palace-looking thing. You have nice furniture and comfortable. And some paintings paint them like dressed in rags and chains on them. Like brutal. So it may very well be. I don't know. It's conjecture. They had privileges even because they're part of the royal family. So they had privileges to be able to communicate with people that weren't in prison with them, that they could have some conversation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go see if that section has some commentary that gives the answer to your question. If so, I'll send that message. If there's anybody in the room that wants to do that research, don't do it now because we'll get distracted. But if you find something, we'll report it tomorrow evening. You going to be with us tomorrow evening? You think so? I'll be here. Maybe you'll be there. You have something?
No, Maharaj, isn't it true that after Kamsa tried to kill Yogamaya, he was reformed? He apologized to Vasudeva and Devaki and let them go from prison. So
Let them go from prison? No, they were still in prison. They were definitely still in prison. Hand up, yeah. I want to report something from our discussion. Hold on. You take the microphone, but just don't speak yet. I'm going to, Nandi Mukhi did a little research. It came up with something really sweet. On our topic for the initiation topic was, Nimitta Matram Bhavya Savyasachin. It's very nice. In action, there are three instruments of action, or material manifestations happen from nimitta. This is Sankhya, an efficient cause, nimitta. Then there's the material cause or the ingredient cause. I mean, someone can't do something without ingredients. So that's upadan maya, or upadan cause. And then there's a supreme. The supreme combines the two. The supreme combines the material cause, or the ingredient cause, and the efficient cause, the one that moves matter. Then he coordinates the two. So there's three causation principles. So her very nice point. When Krishna was asking Arjuna to be the nimitta, implicit, not stated directly, but implicit is, he already had the other two lined up. The ingredient cause was already there, the supreme will was already there. Everything was a slam dunk. He just had to do the immediate cause, or the efficient cause part. Everything else was done by Krishna. So that's just a little detail on that particular topic. No, you want to add something?
No, actually, I have a different question. So thank you for sharing these sweet exchanges of Krishna's pastimes. It's wonderful, and on a daily level, we see that we want these loving exchanges between amongst each other and so on, and while we are wanting those, there is also a place for principles and rules and other things in the society, in any society. And I'm kind of wanting to hear a little more about how to hold both of them.
How to do what, both of them?
How to hold.
Hold. Krishna. He's the maintainer. He holds. Without Krishna, you can't hold. Then it's bahushakayanantascha. Your mind is going from this to that to the next thing, and you get dizzy. You can't keep up with all the complexities. But when vyavasayatmika, when spiritual intelligence is there, you can hold diversities, no problem. That's a principle. That's how. By Krishna consciousness. It's the spiritual potency that has guided by spiritual intelligence. And then diversity can be there, and the complexity can be there, and you still can hold the spiritual strength and the direction of where you're going, and see the things in relation to Krishna's arrangements. It's an elevated position, but that's the answer to your how. There's a hand up in the back.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the nice class. You touched upon many wonderful loving exchanges that Krishna was having with the devotees, and they are so variegated or diverse. Is it that the love is the basis for variegatedness?
What is the basis?
Love?
Love is the basis for variegatedness. That's an interesting phrase. Maybe it's the other way around. Prabhupada says, variety is the mother of happiness. You're saying the other way around. Happiness is a variety of mothers. Love.
I was thinking, without love, there's or variegatedness is an expression of love.
I can't follow.
Okay.
Go back to the drawing board and see what you can come up with. I mean, something that Sri Radhika said a few classes ago, the foundation of well-being and happiness and life is love, wanting to love and be loved. That's, we want happiness and we want happiness. And happiness is a loving exchange with others. So we desire that. Naturally so, and appropriately so. Now, it sounds like you're bringing in diversity or variegatedness into that mix. But variegatedness is already there. Even with one person, there's variegatedness, what to speak of other persons that has the principle or the experience of variegatedness. But the basis is love, not variegatedness creates love. Love is the basis. Am I touching on your main point?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay. That was a tough one. There's a hand way in the front. You want to pass the microphone way in the front? Right here. Yeah, you're on.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Oh,
I was wondering why. I was wondering why Aborigine people would be classified as lower caste if in today's society it's the opposite.
really?
I don't have a good understanding of the caste system.
Well, it's not a caste system. It just means people that aren't educated and sophisticated and cultured, but they have a livelihood, and everyone has a livelihood. So persons that are not sophisticated, cultured, and wealthy, and and so forth, they have some livelihood. So persons from that socio-economic background, they may have that title or label or something. But it's not a caste system thing. It's just their position. What do you think? Does that answer your question?
Um,
Um?
so the word Aborigine, does that not mean fair skin? Or?
No, it doesn't mean. It just means their socio position, the position in the social structure of people, of things, of human beings, and doesn't mean the color of their skin. I never heard that one before. How we doing? Online question. You want to read it?
This is from Sucharita Mataji.
From whom?
Sucharita Mataji.
Okay.
I was wondering why Krishna gave the fruit selling lady basket full of gold.
Why not?
Is it because that is what she wanted?
No, not maybe. Most people want gold.
The Lord responds with various other benedictions. What can we understand from what he gave it to the fruit selling lady?
Oh, he does what he likes. That's what we can understand. No, she was poor. Exchange with Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah. Why not? Same, response. Why not? Those that don't want to see, those that have a false ego conception, a bodily and material conception of life, don't see Krishna in the picture at all anyways. But those that are devotees, whatever happens, they see Krishna in the picture. So good fortune, ill fortune, that on the material side, good fortune, ill fortune, it's a relationship with Krishna, period. Krishna's giving one an opportunity for serving him. If there's nothing, then you live with nothing. If there's something, you live with something. And you use that in Krishna's service. And if there's abundance, you use that in Krishna's service. I was sharing this the other day. I had forgotten. Anyway, Prabhupada came with nothing. And then people would give him stuff. And it was like a fashion, at least for a while. They would buy him this, the most expensive watch in the market. So like every other day, he'd get a new Rolex. Yes. Now, in the case of Vasudeva, he saw four-armed Krishna, then became a little Krishna, so he understands his divinity. And the divinity child was taken by the side of, but the divinity child is the four-armed Vishnu, not the two-armed Krishna. So even for him, the two-armed Krishna playing upon the flute was Vishnu doing a pastime, not the other way around. The highest form of love is Nanda, who didn't know. He's my son. That's all I know. And he would show his divinity, and he's my son. That's the Yogamaya, back to your first question, Shivram. That was the Yogamaya feature, the acting on Nanda. He couldn't see him otherwise. And he would sometimes speculate. Is he this? Is he that? Maybe this, maybe that. No, he's my son. Okay. Yeah. Pass the microphone that way. This is the last question.
Guru Maharaj, I had a comment and a question. What to do? The comment was, trying to understand Krishna's pastimes, and trying to understand the mystery is not easy. But one thing that I was appreciating is how yourself as a sannyasi, when the child was crying, was not attractive at all. Yet a child like Krishna crying or Mahaprabhu crying can be so attractive.
Yeah.
So it's clearly transcendental just by watching your appreciation or lack thereof. And
thank you very much.
My question, Maharaj, is this may be, trying, like a frog in the well trying to understand what's in the ocean. The spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. So this is what happened here in Vrindavan. It's continuously happening now in Vrindavan.
Yes. Uppercut, yeah.
And in the replica or the real Goloka Vrindavan, in the spiritual realm, we hear that Krishna is 16 years old eternally. Do these pastimes also happen in that realm?
My understanding is no. Nitya Lila doesn't mean necessarily there, it means Nitya Lila. He can manifest his Lila wherever he wants to manifest, or not manifest wherever he wants to not manifest. But the childhood pastimes are unique. And the sweetness of those childhood pastimes are very special. Not just because it's like, amongst diamonds, it's the most sparkling of the diamonds or something like that. It is, but it's not. That's not just the rarity of it. It's the sweetness of it. And Krishna likes being with his devotees and exhibiting these kinds of pastimes. Now there's another picture, and then another picture of Nitya Lila goes like this. Prabhupada's explanation. When Krishna departs, somewhere is like the sun sets here, but somewhere else the sun is rising over there. So the sun is always rising, the sun is always rising, the sun is always rising, the sun is always rising. Whoop, here comes the sun again. So the pastimes are eternally going on, and associates travel with him or accompany him, and his pastimes are eternally going on. They're unending pastimes, Nitya Lila, in that sense. The other sense is they become unmanifest to worldly vision, but they're eternally going on. And then sometimes Krishna pulls back the curtain, and people that have the spiritual capacity, he can reveal pastimes to them that are eternally going on. Because they're apricot, and then he pulls back the curtain, and then they can experience them, and then closes the curtain again. As his will. So he discloses himself to those that have the proper bhakti. And, enjoying and astonishing and amazing and, all the emotions of transcendence. Okay. Do our host and hostess have something you want to add? Something?
I read all those verses few times.
Yeah?
I read through all 18 chapters. But every time when I hear somebody like you, I really revisualize or really those moments.
Mm.
So it's an ocean. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Maharaj, for blessing us with lecture. And I started my journey in this direction, believing in ISKCON, and every day I'm more eager to learn new things. And the challenge it always comes how to detach from the physical things or all these noises around you and get more focused on when you're doing the malas or we're listening to kirtans or when you're listening to the lectures, how to stay more focused on things. That's not happening. It's improving, but it's still, I probably, if I listen 45 minutes of lecture, I get probably 5 minutes of thing, maybe not 5 actually, just so many.
Well, you've been here for over an hour, so
yeah.
Mind is probably through the universe.
But this is different. This is not
Like
the same. You
like
listen
your wife.
from
Okay.
the recorded thing.
Well, what you're describing is called anishtata bhakti, and that's prior to nishtha. So the prefix in front means un or not steady, not steady. And how do you move from unsteady to steady? That's the question, or that's the topic. And the obstacles that are causes of unsteadiness need to be removed. It's called anartha-nivritti, unwanted things removed. And how does that removal happen? By hearing. So you hear in the unsteady state, but it's acting even if you're not focused. Even if you're not focused, it's acting. So continue hearing. And with a certain qualifier, with faith, I'm hearing because I know it's going to help me become focused. And right now, honestly, not focused. So then let me go to the focused by the means that's going to get me there. So hearing in good association, sadhu sangha, hearing in good association, and do it regularly. And then repeat. And then repeat. And then you'll stay in good association and hear as attentively as you can. And acknowledging as you're doing publicly, but we're also in the same, general position. There's unsteadiness. We're not at this, most of us, not at that steady stage yet. And then there's characteristics of the steady stage, and it takes a while to get there. So how long will it take to get there? As long as it takes to get there, that's how long. And that means it can happen in less than a moment. It can happen over a long period of time. And a lot depends on what you said in your little, acknowledgement. Attachment to the temporary holds one back. And being able to let go of the affinity for the temporary, it's not like you have to trash stuff, but just the affinity for being the enjoyer of stuff. You live according to what your necessities are, and gradually learn the art of focusing on transcendent, or sat, that which is eternal. And slowly, slowly, the darkness dissipates and the light becomes brighter. Slowly, slowly. It works. Testify. It works. Yes. Okay, last question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So, me and my friend Sita has a question. Does the sun god have a face?
Does the sun god have a face? That's your question? Yes. It's a happy face. And not only has face, he has a whole form. And personality, and a name, and qualities, and activities, and the whole shebang, including a face. You want to see his face? He's got a nice smile. You know who likes the sun god? A lot. Radharani. You can join Radharani's party and go worship the sun god with her. Find out about Radharani's worshipping Surya. There's a place in Vrindavan, one of the places when you go to Vrindavan you can visit, Surya Kund. And it's a place where Radharani would regularly go to worship Surya Dev. There's a nice deity of Surya Dev there, Surya Narayan. But actually, she went to worship sun god. There's some details without all the details, but it was a good rendezvous place to meet with Krishna. Shh, don't tell anybody. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.